Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Terence Crawford doesn't seem to either want to fight, doesn't seem to be able to get a fight. I'm not sure what it is. But then you have a lot of boxing fans who feel that PBC is freezing out Terence Crawford. And when you look at that, I don't know if those are the right words to use, but I would say they kind of apply to the situation. Because even if it's not being done intentionally, it seems to be happening. Because we know PBC likes to put their fighters against each other. Now, there's one person in particular who's involved with the PBC. And if you ask him, he'll tell you. Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Haymon are the same. Floyd is PBC, PBC is Floyd, Haymon is Floyd, Floyd is Haymon, whatever. But there are many who believe Floyd is the one who is sitting here, man, keeping Terence Crawford away from getting the fights he wants. Because they say Floyd Mayweather has a lot of reach, not only for PBC, but outside of PBC. Now to that I say, hold your horses and let's not take it to the stupid. But if you tell me that Floyd is concerned about Terence Crawford getting to 51-0, and Floyd doesn't want that to happen because Floyd now will have jeopardized, if he allows it to happen, his record, which he feels is the standard of being considered the best ever. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. I think that 50-0 record, I think that shit matters to Floyd. Now, we know he's not the only one who retired undefeated. You know what I'm saying? Joe Cagi retired undefeated. Andre Ward retired undefeated. And there are other fighters who retired undefeated. But there are some fighters who went beyond 50 wins and were undefeated and then took losses later. But Floyd isn't the first one to get the goddamn 50 wins with 0 losses. And he's not the only person who's retired undefeated. But Floyd said some things that kind of swayed me the direction to believe he really doesn't want anybody in this era to get to 50-0. Because he feels very strongly about what he accomplished. Now, there's an article that's floating around out there, and it talks about some of these things. It says, the boxing legend Floyd Mayweather believes he's the best ever, TBE, and sees his 50-0 record. That's why I'm talking about this record. 50-0 benchmark as the greatest record compiled in the ring. Now, when you take a look at Terence Crawford, he's not too far from that. Munguia is not too far from that either. But, you gotta look at the opponents they fought. Let me pull this up real quick, right? Because I want to show you, where is Terence Crawford on here, man? I know some of y'all can call it off the top of your head. Terence Crawford's 41-0 and 30-something knockouts. I don't know. I don't know that shit off the top of my head. Okay, so here it is, right? Let me add it. Okay. So here's Terence Crawford. Now, he's 40-0, 31 knockouts. Terence Crawford's 10 fights away from tying Floyd Mayweather, which is something that we know Floyd Mayweather doesn't want anyone to do. Because I guess to him it's not achievable. Now, Mayweather even said, when you compare his record with Julio Cesar Chavez, and said his record overhauls that despite holding over 2 times the victories. So to Mayweather, his record is much better than Chavez's because I guess just the opponents. Now, to this day, Floyd Mayweather still competes in exhibitions. And he had no issue talking about his resume. And Floyd says, sometimes when I speak from the heart. I don't knock no fighter, I speak the truth. He says, you see some fighters with 100+ fights like Chavez. They say he's great because he's got a 109-4 record, but it's actually 107-6-2 officially. Out of the 109-4, he got 80 KOs, 85, but who did he beat in those fights? He said, if I accomplished more than he accomplished in 50 fights, then that means that he was working harder and I was working smarter. Oh my God. It's always about working smarter. So when you stop right there and you see Floyd looking at Chavez's record and the guys he fought who were tomato cans, right, according to Floyd, and you look at Floyd, and Floyd fought champion after champion after champion. Floyd's resume is crazy. So Floyd's saying, okay, he's got the quantity, but I've got the quality. And he worked harder, I worked smarter. Now, when you take a look at Terence Crawford, right, could Floyd have looked at Crawford like, I'm not worried about him. He ain't nothing but another Chavez. He's going to fight. He fought a bunch of tomato cans. He's not fighting quality opponents. So if he gets to 60-0, it doesn't matter because his resume can't compare to mine. But if you take a look at what Terence Crawford, if people weren't convinced on Terence Crawford, I think the Porter fight, for me, I know Terence Crawford could fight. Everyone knows, but I think the Porter fight and the Spence fight, if people weren't believers, they sure as hell are believers now. And for Floyd Mayweather, I think if he really is hating on Terence Crawford, right, which I don't know if he's hating on him, but I do know Floyd's record is important. I think he realizes that Bud has something special about him. And if Bud stays active, Bud can easily get to 51-0. And these next 10 opponents could be, quality, champions, killers in the ring. And Crawford could, breeze right through them. And that's where now Crawford would have a very good argument, and maybe he's the best ever. But then again, everyone's going to have an opinion. But Floyd may be sitting here looking at this like, nah, we're not going to let this little Omaha, Nebraskan fella come out here and steal my shine or my record, which Floyd feels is the benchmark. I don't know if I agree with him, but what I will say is, Floyd's record is crazy. Not just the 50, no, the people he fought. And I truly believe Floyd could have, I've said it before, I don't see how people can hate on that man. I think Floyd could have been undisputed any goddamn weight division he wanted to. That's just how good he was. And that's just being fair to him, man. But he goes on to say, when he fought Genaro Hernandez, he said, I was 21, he was 31. They said he had too much experience for me. But then after the fight, they said he was over the hill. Has Terence Crawford fought anyone yet? But look at Terence Crawford's age, too. He's up there. But I'm trying to think, has Crawford fought anyone that... Oh, they kind of said that about him and Spence, that, Spence was washed up. He's had to lose too much weight. There were some excuses. But then Floyd points out when he fought Canelo was younger. They said he was inexperienced, but they had about the same amount of fights. I don't think Crawford has had that issue about somebody being inexperienced. But I do think when it comes to Floyd Mayweather's records and then he starts talking about the numbers don't lie and the pay-per-views and everything, I think Floyd Mayweather has a point on that. But it takes two to tango, and I also feel when it comes to the pay-per-view performances, stars just lined up for Floyd Mayweather. It was that time. Fire Stick wasn't as prevalent, although it was out there. There were different ways to stream fights, but it wasn't happening so much. It was in the beginning stages. So I just think what Floyd was able to do, as far as pay-per-view performances specifically, it's going to be hard for somebody to attain that. I mean, goddamn, he had Pacquiao, who was a massive superstar, then Conor McGregor, who's a massive superstar, De La Hoya, massive superstar. You know what I'm saying? Who in boxing right now is a massive superstar like that? But for Floyd, I think with him, I think he realizes that a lot of fans kind of understand that. But I do feel that somebody getting to that 51-0 or 52-0 or whatever, I think that could be an issue with Floyd. But I don't know, man. People talking about, Bud not getting opportunities and stuff like that. Look, one thing I'll say about Al Haymon, and this is no secret, he likes to keep things in-house. And you know what? This is what I don't understand. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know why, if Crawford really wants to fight and make, great money, why doesn't he just do like another 1 or 2 fight deal with those guys? But and with the clause in there, if they don't get him a fight within 90 days, 120 days, he wants to fight twice within a 10-month period or something. And if they don't, then this contract's nullified. Why can't he at least approach it that way? I don't know, but everybody's saying it's Floyd's fault. I'll tell you what, at 147, that Crawford has those belts, but they're gonna try to make unless someone gets mandated and Crawford has to fight him, which he probably won't. That's the other thing I don't understand. Why aren't fighters calling out aside from Boots? Why aren't these fighters calling out Crawford at 147? You know what I'm saying? Why aren't they calling him out at 154? Like, you would think he's the pound for pound great, right? The best of this era as of right now, right? Only person said they wouldn't mind fighting him, really, Tim Tszyu would fight him, but Fundora is pretty vocal saying, hey, Earl Spence is more money, but yeah, I'd like to fight Crawford. But they're not saying it with any conviction. The only person that really there's only 2 people that sound like they just don't give a shit. That's Jerome Boutsinis and Tim Tszyu. But I would think people would be wanting to fight him. But you know what? Somebody said, well, they're scared of him. He's 37 years old, and they're afraid of an old man. But then someone's like, no, that's not it. They were given marching orders and instructions on not to mention his name. And I'm like, well, how do you know that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would never say that. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but I haven't heard or seen anything to make me believe fighters are being instructed not to mention Terence Crawford's name. And to be honest with you, that's putting a whole lot of, that's giving Floyd a whole lot of power. If you're going to assume that Floyd is able to have that kind of influence over fighters on the PBC roster and off the PBC roster to tell them, don't mention Crawford's name. I mean, you guys understand the kind of, like power that you're saying Floyd Mayweather has? I don't think he has that kind of power, man. I think he's very influential, but I don't think Floyd can come out here and tell fighters don't mention Terence Crawford's name. But you just never know. But anyway, if you let people tell it, it's all Floyd Mayweather's fault. He sees Terence Crawford as a threat to what he calls his benchmark record. And he also feels that if Terence Crawford doesn't want to fight on PBC with Al Haymon, because according to Floyd, it seems like Floyd, according to him, is like he gets a piece of a certain percentage of all PBC fights. Now, I don't know, but, it could be possible. Because, to be honest with you, Floyd did a whole lot for Al Haymon. It was a complimentary relationship and a whole lot for PBC. Floyd has a lot to do with the type of money that was made, especially on the front end when he was active. He has a whole lot to do with the type of money that was being brought in. People could talk about investors and everything. Okay, cool. I'm talking about fighters and the type of pay-per-view performances and money made was all by this guy, Floyd Mayweather Jr. He had everything to do with it. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he gets a certain percentage of something. But anyway, is it Floyd's fault? Is it Crawford's fault? Is it Secret Society's fault? Or is it nobody's fault? I mean, those are the questions. But I just thought it was interesting because when I took a look at a couple articles on Floyd, when I found that one where he was talking about his record, it's kind of comical to me. But from what I gather from listening to people talk about Floyd, he doesn't want anyone to outdo him. As much as he says that's what he wants for these younger fighters to learn from him and do better than him, sounds like maybe that's not the case. Anyway, y'all keep cool. I'm about to go exercise. I'm in the breeze.